Can't.
Check.
That worked out really well. Welcome to Calling the Audible Division C podcast. I am your host, GM Calethris. With me, as always, James Floriani.
Thank you for that introduction. As always. Could you not talk, Simon? We're doing
Can you not talk to people who are not on camera? Are you capable of that?
Speaking of
How do
people,
you
speaking of
two,
people
Mr.
who are not on camera, speaking of people who are not on camera,
I thought.
we move on. And actually, my script for the introduction actually said the usual with yelling, so we've satisfied game, James.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed to be a really, really close game. I didn't get to see it myself, but looking at the stat sheet, I was able to tell that, it was back and forth affair. You had Demetrio on one side, doing his thing, running around, doing his thing, and you had James Goulet on the other side coming back for Tomahawk, for former Tomahawk, and, taking JF Marquis' place, and, doing a really good job, unfortunately falling short by 1 point.
Can we just call them Tomahawk and be done with it?
Yeah,
I don't get why
I was
they
gonna
were
say Tomahawk
former
Nightmare,
Tomahawk, because they
Let's
never
just call them
stopped being
former.
them.
Just former.
No, I have the rights to former.
Former,
You
no,
own the word?
You own formerly,
Yeah.
not former.
That's very fair. Speaking of James Goulet, are they starting to find our Tomahawk, former Tomahawk, our Tomahawk? I'm just going to say it. Our Tomahawk starting to find their identity with him at quarterback. Like
Yeah.
we have that discussion of JF Marquis quarterbacking in the lower divisions. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they are. James Goulet has played three games, I believe, now. JF Marquis played the others, but it just seems like, with either quarterback in there, they're kind of plug-and-play players, and they're, whichever quarterback is in there, it seems like the offense is moving and moving forward. Obviously, JF Marquis being, a former Division I player, he's, he has that experience as a receiver and as a defense player as well. So having him, as a receiving option for James Goulet, I think is an advantage there. But, with still 4 games to go, they can only go up from here with Goulet at quarterback.
I think that's fair. I think that Goulet has the edge at quarterbacking, but they are very, very close. However, JF Marquis is definitely the better receiver of the two. So I think that's just, honestly, your best possible way to stack that up. Another 1 point game, and we're going to talk about the quarterbacking situations on these teams as well.
Yeah.
But Gotham Knights 27, Keyport Lock 26. It's a tight game right to the end. How important was this game for Gotham Knights?
Yeah, I mean, I actually took part in this game. I subbed for Keyport Lock. Jeremy Cola, after the Legends game, came out to me and was like, "We're only 4 players, so can you play for us?" And I was like, "Okay." So anyways, the game started. We got a few blue chips players to play with us too. So we ended up being 7 players. But it was just like a kind of a shit show from the start. We had to take a timeout before the game even started just to get the players on the field. And then it was kind of back and forth, score for score pretty much, with 1 turnover apiece. You had also Daniel Goloff playing his first game as a quarterback in Division C. So, it was kind of funny being at that huddle because he had no idea what to call. Like he was we were kind of calling the plays for him, and he was just kind of saying, do this, do that. And it was a lot of improvising, let's say. On the defensive side of the ball, I mean, the Gotham Knights did a good job taking what we were giving them. And, unfortunately for Keyport, they stay winless. And for Gotham Knights, obviously it's a huge win. Gets them the second win of the season and gets them closer to that playoff qualification.
So they're 2-4 right now. Their next game's coming up. Show me your TDs. Honey Badgers, Killabees, and Brocasian. Tough schedule. Can they come out of this playoff eligible?
I just don't see it. There are some good pieces on that team, but ultimately I just don't think they have enough firepower to keep up with the other teams on either side of the ball, really. It's very oriented towards Alex Godet on the offensive side of the ball, and then their snapper also gets a lot of targets. But
He's a big dude, too.
Which one?
The snapper for Gotham Knights?
Alex Rive.
He's not big.
Oh, is Alex
He's very
Rive?
small.
I thought it was
Yeah.
Canducci Snatch, just snapping in. My bad.
No, he's small. And then you have Maxime Thieroux on the defensive side of the ball, who's a pretty good cornerback. But other than that, like the team is lacking in depth, I find, and I don't think they'll make it, unfortunately.
On the other side of teams, I don't think that we'll make it. Is Daniel Goloff the way to go for Keyport Lock at quarterback? Like, if mathematically Daniel Goloff fit as quarterback and you fit as receiver, then he would fit at quarterback and Jeff Rosenblatt at receiver or snapper, as the case may be.
Well, what I will say is that Daniel Goloff has a great arm. He was honestly like he threw a really nice ball. Really nice deep ball.
It's not fun when you're about to say something like he has nice balls, and then someone like us is going to call you out on that. Like
exactly.
When it's obviously a sports metaphor, but you take it sexually, right?
Exactly. Okay. And I avoided that because I know Pease is to my left, and I really wanted to avoid that at all costs. That being said,
just like most people avoid your balls.
Thank you, Pease.
There we go. I had to get in there.
That's what she said. But you try to see. Anyways, I do think why not? You know, why wouldn't you just have him play the rest of the season, see what happens? Because obviously, they're not going anywhere, so might as well see where they can go.
What's your assessment, having played and subbed on this team, like objectively, like just the way things, without getting into specifics of what they run?
It's a lot.
How is it on defense? How is it on offense?
It's a lot like Legends in the sense that it's very disorganized and they're running around for players and this and that, and you're just not going to be successful that way. It's just not going to work in whatever division you're in.
But is this a case where Rosenblatt just wasn't there, or is he not throwing for the team anymore?
No, he was on vacation. He wasn't for the.
So I'm saying, so are they moving? Because you were in the huddle team. So like, do you know if they're moving towards Goloff in general, or
no? He was just subbing.
Okay.
From what they were saying. So, but back to Goloff. Like I think he could be a good quarterback in this league. He just needs to learn how to call plays.
That's very fair. Brocasian 30. Les Bras Branleurs 0. Show up to a fucking game, man, or at least like let someone know that you're not going to be there. Like,
they didn't let them know either. Not even.
That's the word. And
2 hours before the game. Thank you. I'm getting conflicting reports of 1 hour or 2 hours. Either way, 2 hours is not enough time advance notice. People plan their days around this. We pay to play. Like I get it. I get that you can't get guys of your team. But we have a whole community of guys who are just itching to play, who will play at a moment's notice, and it's just not there. Like, just
Keyport being
you're
the
involved
example.
in the CEGEP football community. Like, how much more do we have to lay this out for this team?
After a couple people asked around the league to know what happened, knowing that I'm friends with Minton Tat, I messaged him and I said, "Hey, so what happened with your boys?" And he's just subbing on the team, so he had no knowledge. He's like, I don't know, I just think they can find guys or whatever. He had no actual knowledge, so I mean, it's no longer his team necessarily, so he had no more information. So I would imagine it's a lot like you're saying, Jim, just couldn't find guys. But it's at this stage of where we are at with FPF, with the amount of play, with the Facebook wall, with the amount of activity we have in our own community. Even if you bring the legal roster, have a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair.
I've done that. I've
had like a 1-win season. It was the last game against Solid, my team. And I got a message from Dale Williams like the day before or 2 days before, which basically said, we are basically winless. It's St. Patrick's Day on Sunday. Don't count on us coming to the game.
They never go on St. Patrick's Day. They always miss their game. So yeah.
So advance notice.
Yeah.
Self-awareness of the fact that they're struggling. Respect enough to reach out to your captain. So
it's really
held
having
in
that
high regard.
It's really having that respect and not having no regard. I had to plug that. I had to plug that in.
I think I'm shaking my head loud enough for people to hear it.
So we've touched upon this a little bit because our podcast tends to sort of lean towards either feast or famine and kind of ignores the in-between at times, which we kind of... The meat, which we've been doing more and more of. But I kind of want to get back to this and turn it on its head a little bit. We talk about the winless teams. We talk about the undefeated teams. But we never talk about the why. So I just kind of want to discuss, like, this isn't something we really need prep for, but we're just going to talk about why is there such a disparity between the top teams and the bottom teams in Division C? Right now, 5 teams are currently winless. So Killabees, Les Bleus Branleurs, deservedly so, Keyport Lock and Warhawks, And there's 7 teams with 1 loss or less. Coyotes, Top Sauce, Honey Badgers, 69ers, No Fly Zone, No Name, and No Big Deal. So there's a big gap between the middle here. So why is there such a disparity?
I mean, looking at those top teams that you name, what do all those teams, maybe minus No Name, have in common? What can you tell me they have like in common? Minus No Name.
Honestly, like I'm looking at it because I'm trying to go by your reasoning. If it's going to be a strong quarterback, I feel that all of these teams have strong quarterbacks, including No Name, which have a Division B quarterback, admittedly. No Name kind of lack a defense, but do well more or less. Like they're able to close out close games. No Big Deal, also not a really highly touted defense. Honestly, I don't think it comes down to scheduling. It's just, what do these teams have in common?
I was leaning towards a strong quarterback. Okay. That really, you can put a so-so roster in Division C or D or E, and if you have a strong quarterback, it's going to work.
The quarterback cap usually monitors that. You know what I mean? Like especially Division D, we're seeing teams that are well built do well versus teams that are top heavy in a sense because nobody has a particularly strong quarterback. But in Division C, I feel like it's actually an institutional issue where when players are rated, it's somewhat imperfect that everyone gets lumped towards the middle. So I always say everyone can play Division 3, everyone can play Division C virtually, other than the top 20 historical best players in FPL.
I think it's, in theory, a great idea, like that anyone can play Division 3 or Division C, but it's really where you see the jump between the two. Like there are teams that can do really well in E and D, but struggle in C. And there's teams who will just obliterate C and be able to compete in B and A, but there's no sort of middle ground. So are the middle divisions? So this kind of ties into your points as well. With that in mind, in the winter we did something kind of
idea, honestly, because of how well it worked in the winter. Why not implement it in the summer? You have enough teams there to make 2 smallish divisions within each division, and I think it would be a great idea. I think next year should be something that we should look at.
I think even like if there's small divisions, you could still have some sort of playoff that will allow the 2 divisions to compete against each other, the 2 subdivisions of C. But
just 4A and 4B didn't compete against each other.
No, but the divisions were so large that it wasn't necessary. But I'm saying if you end up with 2 divisions of 16 teams, you'll still end up with competitive games in the playoffs. So it'll be different from 4A, 4B, where the divisions were 50 teams.
I agree with that, but at the same time, if we have over 11 teams in a division, there's no reason not to have them have their own separate playoffs and finals.
Like Division B, had 10 teams last spring, and it was the parity was awesome. Like any team, any given week could win.
So long as we sort of like if there's, say, for example, because I don't have the numbers in front of me, but say the player cap in Division C is 480, and then we split it, like, so CA will be 480, and then CB will be 460 or exactly. As long as teams sort of follow that, like we saw how well this worked in 4A and 4B and 5A and 5B, I don't think that it's even necessary to have communal finals when because I think there's almost a stigma with the more divisions we have, no one wants to be at the bottom because it's like, oh, I play in Division 8 or I play in Division 9.
It happened, that's the first season that division exists, and like the first season of Division E or Division 6, they were really small divisions, but now they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger because I think there's a bit of self-awareness that teams are like, well, I also don't want to get crushed every week. And so you'll see teams move down. You'll see teams make a home in low divisions.
So then is it possible that our solution is just more divisions?
Well, I mean, what you're seeing is a lot
it's a
more.
Longer road show though, Jim.
Yeah, I get that.
You don't want like a 10-hour.
That's what it was.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't 10, but anyways, it was long. What you're seeing though is a lot of new teams because the league is it keeps expanding every season, and also what you're seeing is a lot of higher division players that want to try out quarterback that are getting into these lower divisions. So that's they're playing like 2-3 teams now, and that's why that's why the lower divisions are getting more and more crowded. So I think the best solution is really to have maybe splitting the middle divisions like what you suggested before. I think that would solve a lot of issues.
That's fair. So definitely something to think of in the off season. feel free, for those of you who don't tweet into our show, don't tweet us your thoughts on this, and we can definitely discuss it later on or not discuss it, as the case may be. We haven't had a tweet in a long time, eh?
Brent Calendar, where are you?
Brent Calendar, Ryan Aridi are the two usual suspects.
Yeah.
But that in mind, that would be an interesting.
Two good-looking dudes. Yeah, I don't blame them.
We need that picture of Brent Calendar just like flashing at us right now.
We should have it right here, actually. It'd be a nice addition to the show.
With that in mind, we're going to move on to picks of the week. We have a little bit of time to just sort of discuss each matchup a little bit.
That's the beauty of FPF. That's
that one.
No, they're still sticking with Dean. So we saw Mike Adana, a fairly mobile quarterback, giving the Coyotes defense a tough time. I think Dean is the next step.
I guess like if ever there's a game where your receivers are struggling or whatever the case may be, he can run around, he can do his thing, and he's just a better overall athlete.
I like Dean. Honestly, he's not just a guy.
And he really needs to surprise. He really needs to surprise them on defense and really make things difficult for James Goulet.
Fair.
Killer Bees, les Bleus Branleurs.
I mean,
teams at this point.
I would agree.
That said, les Bleus Branleurs, they do have a lot of CJEP caliber players. They just haven't gotten together. It's still inconsistency for seasons and seasons at quarterback. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that formula that will have them successful yet. But I do think that if they win games, it will be against teams like Killer Bees.
Top sauce, Honey Badgers.
Give me the Honey Badgers. I picked against them in the game of the week. It was a really close game. I could have gone either way, but I was really impressed with what I saw in terms of just how they gel well together. They have a lot of chemistry, it looks like, and I just don't really see Top Sauce putting up many points.
I'm inclined at first to go with Honey Badgers, but I actually will pick Top Sauce in this game.
And you don't even like us.
That's not true. I do. I like all you guys. What I say on the field, GM, is not congruent with how I feel in reality.
Fair. And Eagles no longer on Top Sauce.
Exactly. But there's some wins on Honey Badger's schedule that I thought were light. I mean, they got to play Le Bleu Blanc. They beat Jagerbomb that hasn't figured out this division just yet. MVE is another team that's struggling. Bearskins are up and down. So, I mean, yes, Honey Badgers are 6-0. This will be a testament to see if they're really. This will validate whether or not they are that caliber of team or not.
Brunch Buddies MVE.
Brunch Buddies by 50.
It pains me to say that I will pick the Brunch Buddies. I do think they come out of this victorious.
Many of us are coming from a bachelor party that weekend. Just put it out there.
Oh, yeah?
Not the ones who matter.
Fair.
Yeah, wait, is it you?
One of them touches the ball every play, though.
No, give me the Brunch Buddies. They really stepped it up last week in really, manhandling Jagerbomb. And I think they keep the momentum going. If Marc-André Lapointe stays around too, I think that's a big thing for them. And MV is just too inconsistent.
Yeah,
because he's a really really good receiver.
And he'll make that play when you need.
Yeah, he loves catching balls in traffic. He's not worried about contact. It helps that he's jacked. So I mean, like he's that kind of receiver, and the quarterback uses him well.
Eskimo Brothers, Brocasian. This is honestly one of the more difficult ones to pick, considering Eskimo Brothers are fresh off a win I did not think they'd get.
Yeah, I just don't know. Is it still Noah de Estrada?
Yeah,
that's Russian. I think he's an underrated rusher, honestly, and I'm gonna go Eskimo Brothers on this one. I think that Brocasian is probably most people's favorite in this game, but give me Eskimo for the upset.
Give me Brocasian. Eskimo Brothers, largely inconsistent. You know where their targets are. You know where they're going to, and I think Brocasian have a strong enough defense to shut it down.
You mentioned Noah Destrella as well, but Noah Destrella or anyone else on the team, I don't think that there's anyone really capable of containing Christian right now.
Yeah. In terms of running, no,
on that
but
team,
yeah.
Show me your TDs, Gotham Knights.
Show me your TDs. Having just played Gotham Knights, like I said, I wasn't that impressed with what I saw. They played a really struggling team with half their roster being subs, and they barely won. So give me show me your TDs. I think they bounce back after a tough loss against No Fly Zone.
For Show Me Your TDs, it depends who's there at the game. They played again this week without Kevin Lubin, without Julien Bellavance, and we saw Mike Adona really struggle without his two favorite targets. I'm going to say Show Me Your TDs, but it's tentative. It's more tentative than it would be if I knew the whole team was there.
No name, the commission.
The commission. They gave up 43 last week against Eskimo, and it was kind of a disappointing loss, I guess. And No Name really hasn't played anybody yet, and I think this is like their first true test, and I don't think they pass it.
It's funny that I've picked against No Name for so long, and this is the one that I'm actually going to pick for them.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, GM. And look, they can't control the teams that are on their schedule. They've beaten those teams. A lesser team would have dropped games. So I'm gonna stay with No Name. But it's gonna be a close game. It'll be a close game, and I think No Name will manage to hold it on in the end, because that's what they've shown all season.
Keyport Lock, Varenne.
Unless like there's some other subs there this week that are really, really good. But either way, I think Varenne take this one. Keyport is just too much in shambles right now, and if they couldn't get it going last week, they're not going to get it going this week.
Anthony Van Drum is a really smart quarterback, smart FPF player. So I like the way he controls the pace. He can really, really frustrate lesser teams and teams without a lot of experience. I say Varenne.
Interestingly enough, during the Top Sauce Varenne game, Anthony Van Dram was chirping Top Sauce, but more specifically was chirping me and covering me. And I kind of wanted to just like, yeah, I kind of wanted to time out the game and just be like, I'm the worst player on this team, right? Like, by and far, you're wasting yourself on me. Like, okay. So that being said, La Sauce Jägerbomb.
Give me La Sauce. I like what I see with the quarterback switch. I think it's great. I think it gives La Sauce so much more receiving depth as well. And I'm going to jump on that bandwagon because their defense can win games by itself. And if they have a quarterback that can actually manage the game properly, I think they'll be tough.
La Sauce's defense is too good for a team that's been as predictable as Jägerbomb. Jägerbomb, all the respect in the world. Everyone knows they're my favorite team in FPF, and I love that they've continued to challenge themselves, but they're not. I don't think they're at a point where creatively they can compete in the higher divisions. They just don't know what to do.
Especially without their signal caller.
Exactly. And Simon Duchesne has developed so much as a quarterback, and now it just seems like they keep going to the same plays, even when, like, those are the plays that got you into 3rd and 4th and long, and you're going back to them because you don't know what else to call. That's not a good sign.
Top season Bearskins.
I think Bearskin beast, and you just throw it to him every single play, and he's gonna come down with it like 50% of the time. So. Yeah,
it's top season still hasn't found their way. Bearskins are just a good team.
Look, I think that Lonnie Johnson, I'm biased because he's a buddy of mine, but I think that little by little he's getting more and more confident. Like, we saw that there's starting to be a chemistry building between he and Kyle Santana, who's going to probably be the go-to receiver for the rest of the year this team.
It was a close loss against No Name, but then again, Bearskins and No Name is just Bearskins and No Name.
I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. I think that's I don't know. I don't think that's an accurate assessment of No Name. I think No Name is a tough, gritty team that plays to these kind of games. They play close games, whereas Bearskins will put up a lot of points. I just think it's a different style, and it's not as flashy. But
no, of course not. But I'm just saying Bearskins are a much better team than No Name are.
I would disagree.
And last game on the docket, No Fly Zone, Warhawks.
Undefeated against winless. Warhawks haven't shown.
What about your thoughts, GM, on No Big Deal Stockton Slap?
Oh, wow. I missed this one, and this is going to be a close one,
Yeah,
too,
I think this is probably the best game on the docket this week.
I give it to Stockton Slap if Jordan McLaren is still hurt. No big deal if Jordan McLaren is back.
I have some inside information that says Jordan McLaren won't be playing.
Stockton Slap.
I have some inside information that Jordan McLaren won't be playing and I will be playing for No Big Deal.
That was my inside information.
So, I'm going to pick my new team to win.
I pick Stockton Slap because James.
Yeah, okay. So
for real, in terms of real analysis, honestly, I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be interesting. I think the team as a whole, Stockton Slap is stronger. Adding a big piece or not, Stockton Slap's good.
So with that, we're wrapping it up quickly. We don't have the coffees in front of us because Pease was supposed to pick them up and didn't.
Irresponsible.
But I lost last week to James, 3 picks to 1 me. But we have to keep track and remember who we picked for our Survivor picks. So who are your 3 for this week?
My 3 for this week. All right, I'm gonna go with former Tomahawk as one of them. Yep. My second one is gonna be show me your TDs. And my actually, sorry, no.
It's been said.
Okay, I get no redos. Nope. Okay.
You can still say no fly zone.
And no, I'm gonna take Bearskins.
And Bearskins. Awesome. My 3 are Killa B.
30-point spread.
Lassos and no fly zone.
I like that. I like Lassos.
So with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Had a great time here in this Frontier Cage. Pete, thank you for coming out and giving your insight. James, thank you as always for being next to me and for me out on this.
Eagle.
Hi, Eagle. Thanks for producing our show.